Thought the laser race was a rib tickler. Stand by for this. It's round 3 of the Queensland Gemini series over 8 laps, and it's not a field of 13. It's a field of 25. Thank you very much. We're going to check the top dozen for you. On pole position, car 21 is Terry Courtley, and alongside him on the front row, Jim Rose in car 40. Second row, car 60 is John Novak, sharing the second row with car 46, Brett Bailey. On the third row, 59 is Kevin Heffernan, and car 97, Norm Nixon. On the fourth row, car 2, David Gross, and car 49, Morris English. On the fifth row, 61, Troy Dunstan, and 56, Phil Crompton. And on the sixth row, car 22, Norm Dalzell, and 23, Jeff Gagan. But as I said, that's barely half the field in this race over 8 laps, round 3, the Queensland Gemini Series.
Well, the series was very, very interesting when we went to Surfers Paradise. Unfortunately, the weather there wasn't the best. We had Geminis bolting off the course just about everywhere. Today we've got absolutely perfect conditions here for the round.
And you can't afford to bolt too far off the course here.
No.
And stay dry.
You'd be
You'd know all about that, Wilco?
Yes, he certainly would. He's been out in the lake since early this morning. John Novak there, number 46.
Bert Bailey, number 46, who shares the Islander Quality Inn's Queensland Gemini Series lead at the moment with Terry Courtley, with now just a little less than 1 minute remaining before the start of this 8-lap journey around Lakeside. A class that I mentioned at Surfers Paradise has been surviving up here for quite some time. Very, very popular. The cars all in identical trim, a mixture of 2- and 4-door Geminis. As we look there at car number 97, Norm Nixon. All 1600 Geminis, standard Kelly Springfield radial tyres. And you can see there just a section of the climb that they have to make as they come along the straight and through the double right-hander of the carousel and across the top of the very heavily populated hill this afternoon.
That gives you the best idea, doesn't it, of the rise and fall in the circuit. When you drive around it, you don't really get that sensation.
Car number 59, Kevin Heffernan, in the 2-door lime green Gemini now with 10 seconds remaining before the start. Watch Courtley and Rose on the front row. Roars away, and it looked as though it may have been Courtley who got just half a car length jump, but Rose fighting back on the inside, and he's looking good as they go through the kink for the first time and down towards the carousel, literally leaning on one another's door handles. Who's going to be brave and break late to the right-hander? And I think it's Courtley. Yes, indeed. Rose back to second.
Here they come. Courtley in front, Rose in second. And then for traffic congestion, there's plenty of it right behind, over the top, through the S's, heading down now to the bridge. And Courtley, beneath our speed camera, situated under the bridge. Swarming cars, heading down to the left-hander at Hungary, and now the approach to Motorcraft Hill. Courtley over the top, yes, one off the course there.
Car number 2, David Gross.
So it's Courtley over Jim Rose, heading down to Castrol. And now the run back along the straight here at Lakeside, with 1 lap completed and 7 still to run in the Islander Quality Inns Gemini Series here today. And Courtley under pressure immediately as they go across the strike.
Well, Rose to the lead now in car 40. Bert Bailey comes up into third placing. And the man in car number 60, John Novak, who was away very nicely, has also dropped back.
A lot of action to unfold yet in this race, by G.
So Courtley here looking to make a move. He's been doing very well over the years up here in this series. He was one of the drivers mixed in all the shenanigans back at Surfers Paradise. For the first time, for a long time since I've been coming to Queensland to watch this series, they're not actually leaning on one another's door handles. Bailey getting out in the rough. And I think that was car number 2, David Gross, out there again, so he must think he's got a hot line out there.
He's got the place wired. Down the roller coaster to Castrol. Jim Rose going through, Courtley in second. A very, very tidy line's been shown by just about all of the Gemini drivers. They come around now for the completion of the second lap. Courtley still hounding away there in car number 21. sitting in the slipstream. Time to go for the brakes. Keeps the very, very tight inside line here to put pressure on Rose as they come through the carousel. Beautiful backdrop of the lake there as the cars exit that, using all of the grass, a little of the track, and some of them using very little of the track through there.
Brett Bailey in third place in car 46, and the top three drawing away just a little. In fact, Bailey's racing on his own at the moment. The top two are well clear. Then Bailey in car 46 in third place, and a decent break then to car 60, which is John Novak, followed in turn by Kevin Heffernan, and then David Gross completing the top half dozen.
Jim Rose leads down the roller coaster to Castrol, Quartley in behind him, and of course Brett Bailey in third. Through Castrol, and once again to the finishing straight. They'll be having a great scrap at the front of the field. Quartley now on the inside, might have the line for the left-hand kick, and he will take it back, but that unfortunately will put him on the wrong side. No, he's able to still distance himself, Quartley, going down to the carousel.
Yeah, Rose was the first one to touch the brakes, and that allowed Quartley to grab the lead again as they come round the carousel with about 2.5 laps remaining in the race.
So Quartley back in command, and he's the man who leads the series. Rose is back in fourth at the moment, so he desperately likes some of the points up for grabs. And also starting to move into the top half dozen now is 97, Norm Nixon. So things hotting up towards the latter stages. But the secret to Quartley's performance has always been smoothness and control. And he does guide these things around very gently indeed.
One of the few that hasn't put a wheel off the edge of the circuit so far in this race.
Using absolutely every centimetre, but managing to keep it on the island the whole time. Comes round now to end lap number 4. So it's 21, Terry Quartley, followed by 40, Jim Rose. Bert Bailey, 46 in third. Squeezes through on the inside, does Rose. Ranges up side by side. Has, oh goodness me, and switches across in front. I was going to say has the line. Has to do it again. Oh, and there's some dust flying in the background there, so it looks like no, Novak got through. I thought he was in stride. So there was certainly a little bit of carry on as they came out of the carousel, but still Rose at the moment, car number 4. Quartley in second, 21. First time takes a wheel off the asphalt.
Well, fascinating scrap this. Quartley seems to be able to put all the pressure in the world on Rose, particularly in the run down the straight through the kink into the carousel. If he can get his nose in front, he can then fend him off for a while, but time's starting to run out. Still a couple of laps left to run. So he's got time on his side. Sitting in behind Rose.
Kevin Heffernan in the green car getting right in behind Novak at the moment as well.
Positions really haven't changed, apart from the top two swapping places a couple of times. Positions back in the field haven't changed very much. The gaps that were opened up in the first 3 laps have remained pretty much the same since then.
There's still about 2.5 laps remaining for Terry Quartley before he gets through on Jim Rose. Chances are that he's going to, because he's certainly probing there at the moment and would seem to have just that little bit of extra speed. It's a little bit like Formula B. You just have to watch out that you don't get drafted somewhere along the line and end up losing your spot.
Rose to the top of Motorcraft Hill on the downside now. And from this point on, Quartley is very, very quick indeed. Bailey still holding back there in third. The rest of the traffic streaming by, coming down into Castrol. As Gary mentioned, not a great deal of passing in the midfield situation. Quartley still sitting in behind Rose here.
Bailey, Novak and Heffernan, the next division. And that too has remained pretty much the same for the last couple of laps. They cannot bridge the gap on the leading pair, and it really has been a 2-horse war up front between Courtly and Rose. They came off the front row of the grid together. They've swapped places at the head of the field 2 or 3 times. Courtly's had the lion's share of the lead, but Rose has got it at the moment, and we're getting down towards the end of the race that counts.
He doesn't seem to be able to make much up here, Courtly.
Bailey's coming with a big run.
Won't you come home? Over the top of the hill. Down the roller coaster. Rose leading. Courtly in second. There's Bailey, number 46.
Well, he's got 1 lap, Bailey, if he wants to do something spectacular.
Well, he's honed in on the action now, and a split comes on. Courtly's got him well positioned here and is going to make a little sneak down here on the inside.
Breaking fuel.
And tries to cut him straight across the racetrack. That was the only move he could make if he wanted to hold the lead through the carousel. So Courtly's gone back to lead now. Rose still in second. Bailey with some steer problems, and he is in third, but he's taken the heat out of the challenge.
Well, Courtly didn't have much choice but to do what he did. Rose was gradually edging him off the other side of the circuit. He cut straight across in front, took the line, took the corner, took the lead.
Oh, look at this bit of a lock.
I like cartoons and funny movies.
Current affairs for me.
All right,
Bailey has missed a gear there as well, and Rose has kept going. Well, Novak's inherited the lead again.
John Novak's come up and been handed a gift here for second place, and Rose is barely clinging to it. Bert Bailey in third. Look at the left-hand door in Jim Rose's car.
You and I and one Ben Gemini.
Oh, he drags him up from the fast.
Heading in now for the checkered flag. What a finish.
Oh, goodness gracious me, you can't believe it, I don't think, Jim Rose, that he's in fact held on to take the prize in this round of the Gemini series. It really was quite remarkable that he was able to recover. Let's have a look at this last lap incident again, with Courtly leading, Rose desperate to get under him, lock up a brake. Rose, Courtly out of shape, might have been a touch. There's definitely a big touch coming up right here as Courtly spins across the track, slams Rose in the door, spins around, almost collects Bailey. Bailey misses a gear. Novak gets by him. Rose takes the shortcut, gets back on the track, still in front of Novak, and went on and clung to the lead to just, oh, hello, don't they go fast in reverse?
They do when you're trying to find them in a hurry.
And really was a great effort by Jim Rose to recover and cling on at the finish and take the checkered flag. And poor old Terry Courtly is probably still sitting up there dazed and wondering what in blazes went wrong there.
Well, I think Courtly just had the problem that was only one minor touch under a brake lock, and that set the whole chain in motion.
Jim Rose, the winner in car number 40. Second placing.